second item is public comment. As to the email mailbox, there's no public comment. Is anyone else aware of any public comment? All right. We'll move on to item 3, proclamation for National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So if you see in your packet, there is a one-page description of what is the proposed policy that we would then resolve, that we support the policy and proclaim September as Library Card Sign-Up Month in Reading. I assume everyone has had a chance to look at, is he entered? Pause for a second. If everyone has had a chance to look at the proposed language of the proclamation, if anyone has any questions, comments, edits?
Thought it looked good. I don't have any edits. Have we done this before was my big question.
No, we haven't done this before, but I think it's something that we talk about every year because it's a big national thing that happens. We don't push getting library cards at any other time during the year other than possibly the new resident open house. We're trying to get new residents, but it is our goal to increase our number of card holders. It's not really decreasing, but we see an opportunity to increase it.
So will this be like a theme for our booth at Town Day?
Probably. Yes.
Great.
Michelle is showing a library card sign up month frame. We'll do some selfies and things like that. So we're very excited about that.
Any other questions or comments in the room? Hearing any questions or comments online?
What is the date of Town Day?
Normally the second Sunday after Labor Day. So Labor Day is the 7th.
The 1st.
September 7th. Yeah.
Do we need to vote on this?
Yes, this would be a vote, and someone would make a motion and.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, did we cut you off, Kelly, earlier?
No, sorry. No, I was just making some notes.
Move to accept the National Library Card Sign-Up Month proclamation as presented.
Second the motion.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, roll call starting in the room. Monette?
Yes.
Andrew?
Yes.
Kelly?
All set.
Andrew Grimes?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Good luck. We'll expect those numbers in October. Next agenda item 4, meeting room use report, and following that, a review of the meeting room policy and fees. So, turning first to the usage report. These are pretty good numbers. Let me ask a question before you start. How many days is the library open per year? I should know this, but.
I can tell you the number of hours that we're open. They don't actually ask the number.
Either way, I think these are robust numbers.
Yes, I could probably get back to you on that.
Okay, so part of what you're seeing here, we wanted to increase the fiscal year 2025 numbers, and I'm kind of going forward before I go back. We should see an increase in them because we had closed off the room for when we installed our new AV system, and we had also blocked outside organizations from booking when we installed the new software for the meeting rooms. So that's why the numbers are a little lower, but I expect that they'll increase. So we've seen a significant change in both the meeting rooms themselves and the software used to book the space. The AV equipment for both rooms were updated in October 2025 by AVI SPI. It's a company that has performed upgrades throughout the town, including at Pleasant Street Center and at the police station. These updates include the addition of video cameras and wireless microphones, as well as the upgrading of our computer equipment to enable the public to hold Zoom hybrid meetings. The installation went smoothly. However, AVI SPI has had to return multiple times to address issues with the sound, including in the last month. We currently pay for the additional support, and it has been invaluable throughout this transition. The Communico Attend and Reserve software update was completed in early September 2025. This upgrade went smoothly with only minor tweaks required on the patron side, and it's been I haven't seen any issues with people booking using the new software, and I think people have been very happy with the way the calendar looks. You saw evidence of that with the ability to download the events calendar into a PDF form.
Excuse
Once we
me.
talk about the meeting room policy, you'll see that we're considering changing it to allow room bookings up to 2 business days in advance of a meeting. Other edits include moving the publicity language earlier in the policy and including language about political campaigns. The library meetings rooms have continued to be a service that is used by a variety of nonprofit, Reading organizations, and individuals. And even with the room closures, outside organizations booked the community and conference room 25% more than in fiscal year 24. And we will continue to publicize the use of the rooms, and hopefully we'll see an increase in the use, especially if we reduce the time from 5 business days to 2. And also, if we get the opportunity to use Stripe for credit card payments. We're currently waiting for Communico to upgrade. Communico is what we use for Attend and Reserve, and they need to upgrade their software so that they can allow Stripe, which is something that the town already uses. So I'm hoping that will come through in the fall. And credit card payments will only be done online. We won't be accepting any of those in person, just to keep it so that the staff doesn't have to deal with credit cards. And that's my report on the meeting room usage.
Great.
Any questions?
Thank you. I think that's great. I think that's good use. I will note both the sign-up dates and the credit card payment has been something we've heard about. So I think reducing it to 2 personally makes sense and moving forward on that. And then we can get, I think, well, first of all, any questions on the usage report? Anyone online or in the room? Hearing none, let's move to the policy. I saw the red lines. I guess I'll just chime in first with my comments. Again, I like the 2 days, the timely payment. My 2 issues were the language about publicity and the political usage. Neither, and I just didn't like either of them. So I did look around a little bit. In terms of the publicity language, I think we should take a different approach of just reversing it. Having our policy be that allowing the room to be used is in no way an endorsement or an embrace of the policies by us or others, and that nobody can state that we are affirmatively endorsing. I don't think we can make people put something in their language, but I think we can state what ours is. So, for example, I looked at Wakefield, and their language I kind of liked. Of course, I scrolled and lost it. This is some of the language. Publicity. In allowing a group to use a meeting room, the Board of Library Trustees and library staff do not imply any endorsement of the group's beliefs, policies, or programs. No group shall, in any of its publicity, state or suggest that, in this case, the Reading Public Library, the Board of Library Trustees, the town of Reading, or the library staff sponsors or endorses the meeting, the group, or any particular set of ideas. So personally, I like flipping that. And then my second comment was on the language. On the political language, I'm not sure if what is proposed is really precise under the ethics guidelines, because you can't hold a campaign thing here, but there are certainly events that invite all candidates here where everyone talks, and I've never been at one that didn't end with, and I ask for your vote, which I think is entirely appropriate as long as it's not an individual.
I wonder, and I think I've seen this in a couple others, where they just simply say, all activities must abide by the ethics law of the state, and then state the mass general law or reg. And it's sort of like, well, that's on you. And
My first say that you must comply with state ethics.
state ethics, yeah.
I will point out here, I don't think Wakefield had anything, but Boston has all political activity in support of one candidate, group of candidates, or ballot measure is prohibited. Which activities include but are not limited to meetings hosted by candidates or their campaigns, and any other meeting held in furtherance of or in opposition to political campaigns. But it goes on to say political debates in the interest of discourse and voter education may be permitted in accordance with the defined meeting policy procedures. I think I may like, if there is an example of something that kicks it, that basically say, listen, you have to comply with the deadline, the requirements. But
Yep.
the Republican committee invites a host of candidates here, and it's, again, open to everybody, open
Yeah.
to the public, and otherwise meets our policies. It makes sense. So those would just be my two suggestions. So now we'll be quiet and let other people speak.
I would actually, I like what you brought up about flipping the script for the publicity, saying not what they need to put in there, but what they can't put in there. And I think it would add to that the logo does not, like maybe we could say, and you may not use the library, Reading Public Library logo. So that might be something.
You think use of the logo would at least, at minimum, lead to confusion? So they can use, obviously, the
name
address,
and
location,
the address,
and
but I
name.
think no logo, and they can't say that
The
it's,
logo is a little bit different.
yeah. So I think we could say, well, the way Wakefield said it was pretty clear, can't say that the library is endorsing it, and you may not use the library logo in any of your publicity materials. So that might be just a little way to, people will still assume that we're sponsoring if it's here, but I think I do agree moving it up and flipping that language would be nice.
Well, we'd like to. We can't eliminate all confusion,
No.
but we can point to a policy. But I also don't think we can make people speak either.
In terms of, in terms of your second point surrounding political campaigning and to that nature, I think I'd be more inclined to go the route that BPL did with their stance of allowing debates, but discouraging or not allowing individual candidates. They're just making that very much apparent, as opposed to just saying abide by the state ethics law, because nobody's going to go ahead and look that up.
I think you can do both. I think you can mirror some of that language and say all participants need to comply with the state ethics requirements and laws. Because we know the debates
Yeah, and then you can,
routinely happen and will continue to routinely happen here.
and then you can go on to say must comply with the things, and here are the things that we promote: voter education, blah blah blah, debates.
I just thought that promoting or opposing a candidate, like in general, that is kind of what happens.
Yes,
But
right.
specifically, it can't be a rally.
Right, and we can't do, please come, but please support the library override. Like we can't do things like that. So the Friends of the whatever can't necessarily do an event. They can do an informational event, but it can't advocate one way or the other.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments online?
Is everybody generally comfortable with reducing the lead time to two business days? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not an increased burden on your end.
I don't, Michelle?
It shouldn't be, as long as, because we include language about business days, that gives us, we would consider that Monday through Friday and not the weekend. That would be the only issue.
And if it ever became an issue, we could obviously revisit and revise. How about the diversity of microphones being at play here tonight? I think that's shows our commitment to a broad scope. Everyone has, we have to say their
We have a lavalier, a hand mic, and three stand mics.
Make it work.
So that will be a new proposed policy included in the September packet at that point for vote, correct? Excellent. So moving on, the financial report.
There wasn't much to report in the general fund because it's the first month, but we're spot on. You all have a very decent sized warrant. It's always it always comes in. It includes the Noble memberships and a lot of our databases that we pay for in advance. So thank you for approving those the warrant. And if you need to, we will need one more signature because we have 3 people in the room. So if you need, oh, so we're all set. Great, thank you. Thank you very much for approving those. And if there's no questions about this particular warrant, I'll move on to the supplemental spending recommendations. Okay.
None, I'd say move on.
All right. So every year, in addition to the municipal budget, we have gift money, trust money, and state aid that we look to spend on special projects, and that supplements the municipal budget. None of it is really used. None of it is meant to be used in place of the municipal budget. We have had a couple years of really big projects, and that's okay. We did the tween space. We're working on the landscape. We had a conceptual design, and then we are paying for the design and bid process. We had the DEI assessment that we chipped in on. We had our strategic planning. We've purchased a lot of equipment. So we've had a few good couple years. However, in view of the fact that we anticipate there may be a drop in state aid or anticipating a few years of possibly some leaner times, the supplemental spending recommendation is a bit lower than normal. It's normally around $100,000 to $150,000. So this year we're recommending a mere $80,000, but they're very specific. Marketing, communications, equipment and furnishings, and additional technology that's not covered by the municipal budget. We do put in some additional money for materials. It is above and beyond the 13% requirement. So just to refresh your memory, as a community of 25,000 people or more, our material spending requirement is 13% of the overall budget. But we're not, that range is from 25,000 people to 49,999 people. So we're at the very low edge of that. If we had 600 less people in town, we'd be required to do 15%. So we always add a little bit of extra money, assuming that based on those ratios, we want to supplement our budget. So we use state aid and gifts and trusts to do that. We also supplement professional development. We have a nice budget from the town, but we also have 38 staff and part-time and full-time, and making sure everybody has memberships. And it's something we really believe in terms of what we do. We also offer some limited tuition reimbursement for people working on their library degree. So we do get people doing that every once in a while. So we want to be able to supplement the spending for that. We also put in a little bit of money for programming. We will be, probably cutting back our programming if we have to cut back our budgets as we go into lean years. We would probably reduce the amount of programming and rely more on the Friends and maybe the foundation to do programs as they come up. But we do try to add a little bit for programming for larger. I think we started doing this when we started doing Eats and Beats many, many years ago. We realized there might be community programs or larger programs that we wanted to that aren't necessarily in the regular Friends budget. So we do try to supplement that. And then we also have just miscellaneous things that pop up here and there. Replacing a garden hose or something like that. Feeding Chumley and the turtle, the tortoise, Shelvis the tortoise. So those little types of things that we try to use our gift money for. And then this year, the library terrace, finishing up that bid and design process. We're using money from one of the trusts. That money is not from the original trust. It's money that was transferred from the gifts a couple of years ago, and it's done well. It's earned a lot of interest. So we're very happy to be able to do that. So. I don't know if there's any questions or things that you think might be missing or hopes and dreams and wishes you'd like to add. I try to ask the staff this question as we go along. So you don't have to vote on it. It's just sort of an FYI.
Any questions or comments? We'll start online this time.
I'm all set.
How about in the room?
Seem to have things well in hand.
Except for there is a typo on there, but I won't point it out.
Oh, now I'm going to have to hunt it down.
I know. One point, something says $85,000 and it should say $80,500. So I misplaced the zero there. Okay, great. I always love it when the projects seem worthwhile. So moving on to the director's report. No major changes in our trends. We're steady as she goes. We are excited to see more locker use. It's kind of coming up, so that's very exciting. We hope to see an increase in those library cards, although we are pretty steady every month. A couple of facilities updates. I did mention that we're still working with some interesting facilities is working on getting the whole system fixed, but it's limping along and it's doing okay. We are open a lot of hours, our regular hours this week, and it will be a notice going out because there's a heat advisory for this week because it'll be 3 consecutive days without going below, I think it's 80, creates a heat emergency. I also wanted to add the EV chargers. Almost everything's done. They just need to repaint the ground piece of the one that they accidentally painted over. So there's 2 that are painted over. It was only supposed to be 1. So but the metal signs that say EV parking here, there's 3 of them. So we do have an extra spot. I haven't seen people parking in either of the blacked out spaces particularly. So it's there.
Is that going to be this week? Or I just saw something about.
No, the parking lot is closed this week for 2 days because we have Vehicle Day tomorrow, which starts at 7 a.m.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep, touch a truck. And that goes till 9. And that leaves with, the sirens and the ladders. It's our 26th, I think, annual Vehicle Day. And they even had them during COVID, which was pretty cool. The trucks just came and did a raid. And then on Thursday, we're doing a bike rally. So the parking lot is closed. We really just wanted to notify for people who might be using EV chargers It's generally closed because we're closed, but we're going to be doing a bike rally where everyone will, they have it all organized. They're going to do a little route, and I think they have PD and safety involved with all of that. So this is just sort of part of the get out, be healthy, be in nature, that kind of thing. So the children's room are very excited about planning this. It is for all ages. So if you'd like to come down with your bike, come on down. It is for all ages. So that's why the parking lot's closed. Megan Wu from RMLD said she will be, probably I think for the September meeting, she's going to try and get us those updated statistics. There's definitely been a significant uptick in usage now that both of them are working fully. So we'll look forward to that in September.
And just to clarify on the AC side of things, past month, has the children's room have to be closed at all?
No. It's the way it's running. They've been able to balance the whole building. They do run it like 24/7, I think, because it has to. It's missing. One of the compressors is down, so it's trying to hop along with one compressor. So, but they're working hard. They're doing what they can. And the truth, with this summer, all of the vendors are very, very busy. Things are breaking down left and right. So we're in line. We're in line with everybody else. We got the IRIS report filed, which is excellent, and we'll be filing the state aid application and financial report in the next month or so. I did just want to note that we have had a change in available databases through the state. The state did not have to cut any staffing. Instead, they made major cuts to content that was available statewide. It was a very difficult decision, but they've been able to do that. The biggest thing that was lost was the online resources to the Boston Globe. So we now subscribe to that individually. There are a lot of resources available through the Boston Public Library as well. But they're often limited. So you'll go and you'll try and access it and say like, sorry, all licenses are busy. So we are trying to supplement where we can. And then you can just read through some really great, successful programs that we had. And it's been a really fun summer. We had 28 applications for the position that which I've never seen that many applications come in. There were a large percentage of people who had just graduated from college. They were sort of looking, I think, for a part-time job with benefits. We do hope to make an offer this week. So, and that's it.
Great.
Unless you have questions about July or what's going on right now.
On the two candidates who withdrew their applications, did they find a job elsewhere, or did they have any feedback for the interview process?
No, we reached out for interviews and then they said, oh, they withdrew their, yeah. Two of them, at least one of them, I should say, I know was a young person. I was kind of surprised, like, you seem really qualified to be doing another job. So I wonder if they did get another job. So, and just as a side note, the team that's working on this is Jamie Penny, Louise Hetherington, and Valerie Gold-Heighthouse. We spent a lot of time going over the questions and thinking about the type of person that we want. And the focus really is on customer service. The skills that that you need to work in borrower services, we can teach you. There's nothing that requires an immense amount of studying or anything like that. So we did push heavy on wanting people who have customer service, de-escalation techniques, working with problem customers, that kind of thing. And then obviously technology, comfortability with working with technology. So we had some really good candidates.
Great. I just had a quick question about the Library of Things lockers. I'm wondering how they're working out.
They seem to be working out great. I was going to check the stats for them at 6 months in just to see if we're seeing an increase. I think with the visibility, they're definitely going out. There haven't really been any hiccups with it. So right now it's good. Yeah.
Good.
Great. Any other questions or comments about the director's report? Okay. Moving on, we have the minutes of the July 14th meeting that were included in the packet. I personally have not, I've reviewed, didn't have any comments or edits. They look good to me. Anyone else?
Move to accept the minutes from, is it July?
Have a motion
Second?
and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, a roll call vote. Start online. Kelly,
Yes.
Andrew Grimes,
Yes.
the room, Andrew,
Yes.
Monette,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Now, roll back up. Future agenda items. So September lists fall programming and the summer reading report, an update on the library terrace, date of the collection. We'll talk about the meeting policy. It's not listed here, but we'll talk about the meeting policy again. And you just mentioned that Miss Wu would be here to update us on EV.
Or present, or
Or-
she'll either
or-
be here or she may just
By
send
the
it, send it, yeah.
data. And review the collection development policy.
I feel like there is a very small change that they want to put in there. I don't think it's a major change to the collection development policy or how we take RFRs. It's just, they went through the annual review and I think, had some suggestions to make it tighter.
Sure. Well, I think keeping it on the calendar regularly, even if there aren't changes, makes sense. And then October, Toys for Tot collection request, policy discussion and vote as needed on the collection. And we'll move on to the next policies of distribution, posting, and collection of other materials, and financial forums down the line.
The financial forums this year will be much, I think we'll be talking a lot about overrides, a lot about what our needs were, how to cut as many of the expenses as we can. I think it's been pretty clear that we're trying to avoid cutting staff. So they'll be interesting financial forums. I do have actually one other item that I forgot to mention in the director's report, if that's okay, if I can circle back. The children's room has an idea, would like to run a costume swap for children this year. I think it's something that kind of aligns with our, reduce, reuse, and recycle kind of bent. And in order to do that, they have to collect the costumes ahead of time. So they would like to put a bin in the lobby. They'd like to collect costumes for a month from August 22nd until September 22nd. And then the swap would be on September 27th. So that gives them a week to kind of organize and put everything in there. So we do the same thing, only much shorter period of time with like the puzzle swap. Like you can just come drop off your puzzles and then either attend the swap or not. So I think it doesn't seem to be a problem with borrower services or anything like that, but it would be from August 22nd to September 22nd. And I can't think of anything else that we would be putting in the lobby during that time period. So it doesn't necessarily need a vote, but just to let you know that that's going to be going on. And if you see a big bin there, it is library sponsored for a library event.
It's going to be coming right up.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the future agenda items or the costume swap? I'll go dig out some of my costumes from the 70s with all plastic and get them added. All right.
Probably back in date.
I believe anything else? Perhaps a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second?
And seconded. Okay. Roll call vote online. Kelly,
Yes.
Andrew Grimes,
Yes.
into the room, Andrew,
Yes.
Onette,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Good night.